We found everyone in the r/dumbphone subreddit was like, I want a dumb phone, but I need Uber. I want a dumb phone, but I need maps. I want a dumb phone, but I need my kid's baby monitor app. So they told you exactly what they want. And all the other minimal dumb phones are coming out and they're too restrictive.
You're listening to Founder Mode,
where we talk to builders and leaders shaping the next generation of ideas.
Today's episode is about building the anti-technology product.
Yeah, our guest today has built something that people know they need, but maybe they don't want. So I've been a lot better about not answering every phone call. But in all seriousness, the smartphone is a problem. Like, it's a real problem. And your solution, which we've talked about before, is like this 23/7, I call it, DND, because you have 1 hour a day you allow yourself
30 minutes twice a day.
30. Okay, so it's 30 minutes twice a day, but it's effectively 23/7. So like 23 hours a day, your phone is locked down.
Yeah.
To the point where, is it the wife only that can get through? Who can get through?
My wife, my daughter, and my mom.
Yeah. I think that basically makes it a dumb phone, because it's just, then it's a phone, they call you, they text you, you see that, that's it.
And then badges are the only way that I know that somebody like pinged me on one of these like secondary or tertiary sort of channels. And I like to be this multi-connected person, but now I've found like I can just batch that. And it honestly stems back from the like Tim Ferriss days with the 4-hour work week, where he's like, hey, if you just do email 4 times a day, 3 times a day, it actually is better for you and the other people, because they know you're going to get back.
Better for your nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are those 2 30-minute blocks? I actually think that's an important thing to know.
When are they?
Yeah. When are they? Yeah.
Bro, if I told you, then you'd know when to get through. No. Yeah. So one of
double call you constantly. That's how I do.
So one of them is in 7:30 in the morning, which I get up at 4:35 and get a few hours to get booted up.
Yeah.
And then 7:30, I go out and have breakfast or like my meal at that point. So 7:30 is I can shut my phone and clear it. And the other one's at 5:30, basically after I eat my final meal, which is typically 2 or 3 o'clock, but definitely done by 4. So 5:30 gives me like one kind of shot, and then you put the phone away, and then you can.
And you famously don't put the phone by the bed. Like, it's not.
Correct. I charge my phone in a different room. So same thing. So even if you wake up and you're like, oh, restless at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Nope. Phone's not even there to grab it. Cause my thing is like, I would grab it and just check one thing, and you never just can check one thing. And
the discipline for all this system, though, I think is really important. So what are we talking about today?
Yeah. So today is about building a device that sort of takes care of that for you. And Austin's a founder, community builder, who's really just leading the charge to build like the perfect dumb phone.
Yeah, he's a part of a generation of founders who see all of us getting sucked into our devices, maybe don't think that's a good thing, and he's doing something about it. Should we bring him out?
Yeah, let's do it. Austin, welcome to Founder Mode. We've taken a unique path of blending leadership, community building, entrepreneurship to create this kind of real world systems that help people live, work, and connect better. And today we're really talking about what it means to lead with purpose, how to build something from scratch, and how to keep learning while you're building.
Yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Austin, we're excited to have you. You started leading organizations pretty early in your career. That's awesome. I didn't know before we connected with you what Sleke was, but you started this company, you co-founded it, that's focused on creating, I think, new digital and real world experiences. So what was the moment that you realized there was something to...
Yeah. So inherently, what we do is we build an operating system that is designed for communication utility only, to help you still engage with your life without pulling you away from it. This started as one conversation back in 2019. My buddy and I were both living in China, and we saw how helpful the phone was. We just wish it didn't have all the distractions on it like it did. And 2022, we found that nobody was still building something with all the communication, all the utility and functionality. So we decided to do it ourselves.
Dude, that's wild. Wait, so like you've talked to like literally every user, or like a lot of the personas of each one?
For a while, up until probably last month, I've spoke to every single user. And still, when everyone makes a call or everyone makes an order, I call them within 24 hours, thanking them for their order, letting them know, getting their background a little bit, what got them interested, how'd they hear about us. And then now, if there's still time, I like to do a further ICP interview if it's available.
Can you share the number, how many of those calls you've made? If you don't feel comfortable doing that, maybe order of magnitude, hundreds, thousands, like where are we at?
I've probably done over 200 ICP calls. We have them all through an Excel sheet, and it's already through early stage testing. And now as we get closer to full release, we're already seeing that ICP change. So initially it was people who are really desperate for a problem with no distractions on it. And a lot of them have bought 5 or 6 different phones trying to solve this issue, but nothing's really fit the mark. And now we're getting more people coming from the smartphone side who wanted to try something that was able to help them disconnect, but it didn't have enough technology. We do need the availability to scan QR codes. We do need maps now. We do need to listen to music. But we make that possible in a way that there's still no distractions on the device.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. What do you think? I was looking at the sites, like you have batch 1, batch 9, like there's different batches. Are you like doing like 10 at a time and like ripping these, or you've got 100 of these or 20 at a time? What's the batch like look like? And is it like some dude like banging out 20 of these by hand, or?
Yeah, that's me. I'm putting them together. Me and my co-founder.
This is full founder mode. So I'm like, Ev and I are like absolutely loving it. Now I have some technical questions, because so much of what you see out there when you talk about a new device, a new OS, is people are just doing Android forks and stuff. So tell me, like, what have you guys actually built from a software perspective? What's yours, and what are you just leveraging existing stuff? Like, I'm just curious, kind of what is this is a smart strategy to grab these refurb phones, obviously. So what else is in that stack right now?
Yeah, so we're built on a more private and secure version of Android called Calyx. We utilize them. They're privacy and security oriented. It's a little bit better for us to come from that standpoint, because when you scan QR codes, when you open links, when you use two-factor authentication or some sort of approval process, you need that secure browser to make it work. So we added that into the background of our phone.
Like because I have some buddies that like did work on Android and built some of these phones, and then it's okay. No, you've taken a phone. I'm like, all right, got it. You're working on the hardware that you know works, working with an OS, and you're like doing this glue, which is smart. But then it's like you said, if you delete too many things, you're like, oh, it's raining. I need to put the roof back on the house. Like, how much of that kind of stuff are you in that mode where you're like, oh, QR codes are important. People actually use them for things?
Yeah, you listen to all of these, in these initial ICP interviews, you found initially what the pain points were, and discovered that we had something to create going through Reddit. So that after that conversation in 2022, we drew up our own idea of a phone on an index card. And this is while I was still living in China. And we stumbled upon Reddit, and we found everyone in the r/dumbphone subreddit was like, I want a dumb phone, but I need Uber. I want a dumb phone, but I need maps. I want a dumb phone, but I need my kid's baby monitor app. So they told you exactly what they want. And all the other minimal dumb phones are coming out and they're too restrictive. They're not giving the ability to do any of that. And for us, we still use technology as a tool, and we want to be able to utilize that. So for us, this 25 to 45-year-old young professional right now, those are our main ICP, because those are the people who are most desperate for something like this.
I'm pretty desperate for it. It's interesting. I've been thinking a lot about this. So Kevin handles this by being on permanent do not disturb, which I make fun of him for relentlessly, because like important phone calls and things that just don't.
Exactly.
Important to who? It's always the older.
Yeah. But for me, it's a slightly different use case, but I feel like I am potentially your customer. And I wonder about the kind of thing you just highlighted, which feels like the fatal flaw, which is that nobody really wants just a dumb phone that does nothing, because at the end of the day, they're like, but I need this or I need that. Yeah. And so it feels like a really hard problem to solve. And I think your take is interesting. There's the app creep that I imagine happens, where it's just, then I'll add this app, then I'll add that. And suddenly the dumb phone or the phone that's not doing anything does everything again. And I'm back where I started. Like, how do you guys think about like helping people? There's this like brick thing that people buy, and it's like locks their phone. What is your version of this that helps people get back to the whole point of this? Because I feel like we've all lost the sauce at this point with just like absolute attention overload.
Yeah. For us, we're very intentional by what we include inside of our app store. So initially, if you asked everybody, a lot of them would say they want e-readers, language learning. A lot of those, yeah, they're inherently good. But for us, our whole goal is to find ways to get you off the device and where you're using it, if it supports you in daily life. And something like an e-reader, where it keeps your attention on the screen, it's not something we necessarily want to support, because we want your attention back in real life. So it is hard, and there is a lot of questions. And even within our community, we see a lot of good conversations about what should and shouldn't be allowed. But we're trying to do what we can to be on the error side of more restrictive, because we do want to support you getting back to real life rather than life on the screen. And a common conversation is find a perfect dumb phone for me. And it's like, there's no one perfect dumb phone. Like you said, your needs are going to be very different than my needs, than everybody else's needs. So for us, the only way we can survive is by getting as many different perspectives as possible. And that's where us having conversations with our users monthly is a real benefit, because now I know what's working, what's not working, and what we need to improve upon. And virtually, like, what do we need to cover, or what's missing, or what's going a little bit over the edge, and how do we course correct that?
Do you think of that vision being, and you keep saying monthly, meet with people, is
Mhm.
there like a community? Do you think of your users almost as like joining this community, and we're all going to wear the same jersey, use the same phone, and a little bit assimilate to this sort of view? Do you think of it that way?
Yeah, we sell more than just a phone. We're selling the real life back, whether that's connections in one way or another. And for us in our online community, we're trying to bring people together who are all on this journey of trying to achieve their goals. And our phone is the mean for helping with that goal. And for us, that is a community. Like a lot of minimal phones, it could be a very lonely experience because you think you're in it alone. And for us, we're trying to put them together and bring people together and bring ideas together and make everyone feel supported and a part of, okay, I'm not doing this alone. There are people in my same shoes. And so I can conversate and talk about how different workarounds are benefiting us, or what we can do in lieu of one thing or another.
If you had to pick a word or a couple words to describe your community, or sort of the top level thing that you're encouraging the product to be built for, but also the people, like what word or two words would you pick?
Yeah, ours is do cool stuff. And that's because your cool is going to be different than my cool. And for us, living life, and whether it's mountain biking, underwater basket weaving, or hanging out with capybaras, that's cool in your own realm. And we just want to help enable people to remember what that stuff is like again. And that's why for us, going out and co-hosting different in-person events, or showing people what life is like off the phone again, is such a benefit, because it is easy to addiction hop, right? We can just give somebody the solution and they just get on their computer and spend all that time on their computer. Or you can show what people life is like beyond the screen, and what they can do and engage and bring their ideas back, and either get them back doing hobbies that they enjoyed when they were younger, or for Gen Z, like getting them out and just doing hobbies that's off of technology.
I love that. And that's something the other day that just, this keeps coming up in this conversation for me. When we dream, we never dream of our device. You never see
Yeah.
your phone in your dreams. Think about it for a second.
Mhm.
Like you've never been like, oh, I'm looking at my phone in this dream. You're just not. And so there's this idea that these are just it's interference, basically. And so I'm thinking more about, what is the next generation of this look? There's a lot happening with wearables and AR and voice as the new kind of human computer interface. Like, imagine you guys are very focused on, let's just get people off their phones. Let's have it be a means to an end, as opposed to the end itself, which I like a lot as your vision. But I imagine you're also thinking about, what does that future look like post phone? Because it's coming pretty quickly. And for you guys, what are you watching? What are you paying attention to? Where is this going? Fast forward to 2030. I can't imagine I'm holding a phone. So what does that world look like?
Yeah, for us, it's still utilizing that new wearable or different technology, still at the utmost support for the end user. How do you use that as a tool rather than end all be all? Because we got away from the phones because it turned from a tool to a full-fledged entertainment device. And for us, we're trying to bring back that tool aspect. Now, whether it's the phone, whether it's a watch, whether it's glasses, whether it's a pin, we don't know. But we're going to bring that technology and utilize it to the best of its ability by just listening to the market and the times, because it is changing very quickly. And we've seen now, like, phones are still there. Like, people have tried watches, people have dabbled in glasses, and it's always come back to the phone. Never really went away from the phone. So we'll just have to see what the market looks like. But for us, our goal is still use technology as a tool, no matter what the avenue it is or goes through. I think we have already.
Yeah, and I don't mean you to take this the wrong way, but it reminds me of the early days of the App Store, when basically Steve Jobs was like, no porn on the App Store. And you're taking this role that's weird. Like, for me, sitting across listening to you be like, that's not a good app, but that one is. It's, well, who made you the boss of what apps I could have on my phone? Like, it gets into this pretty dicey territory of, is this a published framework you're using? Like, how are you doing this in a way where, like, every time you make a decision to allow or not allow an app, like, it is validated by this rigorous process you've developed? It's good versus bad
definitely.
apps.
Good question. We already have some heuristics. So if there's an infinite scroll on it, we're never going to include it on the phone. If it helps you achieve some sort of technological need in daily life, we're going to look at it and see if we can adjust it. we are working now on one of our buddies. He just graduated with his PhD in machine learning and working on some way to measure the distractibility of apps for that reason. So we can go and be like, look, not only do we think it breaks some of these
What's
heuristics,
your
also
Sleke
backed by science.
score?
Which is six.
Huh?
Oh, that's there you go.
Hey,
There
if
go.
you use
I
it,
like that.
don't forget about me.
Marketing guide.
But then at the same time, the reason why you need somebody else to make the decisions, because as soon as we are in the deciding pool, we're going to break through it. That's why a lot of these time limiting softwares don't work, because you just put in your password and get around it, or you just download, or you just uninstall the MDM software that's going through this app, or you tap the brick. If we are in the driver's seat, we're going to choose the path of least resistance. You need somebody else to make that decision for you to set you up for success.
Yeah, makes sense.
One last thing before we let you go. This is super helpful, Austin. What's your next move? Like, how do you guys go from, okay, we're like tinkering, we've got these refurb devices, we've got this privacy security focused version of Android we're building on top of, we have a heuristic for how we allow apps, we're interviewing every single person who gets the device. Like, when does it go from that to V1 or whatever you want to call it, the actual product that's your phone, your hardware? Maybe that's not where you're going with this, but tell me what the next phase of this looks like for you guys.
I think it's just more optionality. You want to give people the option to buy a brand new device. If they want it on a newer Pixel or a newer device, give them that option. If they want something that's a little bit more price sensitive, give them that option. But don't make digital minimalism a luxury. And I think that's what some of these other companies are doing. It's like, we're going to put a fat price tag on this. It's going to be expensive and it's going to be worth it. And for some people it is. That is great. Not practical for everybody. It wasn't practical for myself. So you want to make it to where digital minimalism isn't a luxury anymore. Time, it shouldn't be a commodity. It should be something that's available for everybody, not a luxury. And I think that a lot of people are getting away from that thought as well. So getting towards full release, at least where the operating system is out with any critical bugs, there's always going to be something small. And they're actually shooting for that by the end of the year. It would be nice to have our own device, sure, but I also don't have $1 million laying around to drop on hardware. So it's a whole other ballgame once you get into hardware. And for us, maybe we could get a grant. Yeah. So for us, it's just listening to people and listening and having contingencies. So if one door closes, do we have a way and a path forward? We do think 5, 6, 7 steps ahead, but we've also gotten this far by just looking at our feet and getting to the next step.
Austin, so good. Where can people find you online and get one of these devices if they're interested?
Yeah, check us out on our website. It's sleke.io, sleke.io. Feel free to reach out to me, Austin at Sleke. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
That's
incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for being here, Austin. Any
Yeah.
socials that you want to promote or any offers you want to give to the Founder Mode audience?
Yeah, so go ahead and we have an offer, Founders 5, on our website. If you do want to get a device, we'll give you a little bit of a discount. If you're on Instagram, check us out on Sleke Mobile. Yeah, we're on all the other socials as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Austin. We appreciate you. That was super
Cool.
thoughtful, grounded, and just like a totally fresh take on what it means to carry that device in your pocket every day.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the time.
And dude, that was great, man.
Yeah.
I was surprised with a bunch of things there in terms of just thinking about technically how to build a product, where typically you look back at people that have kind of picked off these, I'm going to go build a phone project, even that are people that are pedigreed from Google or Apple. And yeah, they raise a ton of money and it takes years to do it. The fact that he came up with this hack, super scrappy.
Yeah. That's very Founder Mode. I just, as he was talking, it's like, oh man, like definitely doing it the Founder Mode way, like very lean startup, really just like getting in there, talking to every customer. Come on. Props for that. People don't do that. So I think it was solid overall. What were your big 5 takeaways, Kevin?
Yeah. So the top 5, really this product insight comes from this direct, repeated conversations, literally calling every user. People really want simplicity, but only if the core sort of modern utilities don't work. They don't want to fully go back to the 1920s or 1930s. They want to still have some bit of future. Heuristics to really say what beats those ad hoc decisions when defining like what your product is. Like, what are you looking for to pick that's in or out? Where's that line? And then leverage this sort of existing infrastructure to just move quicker. We talked about reusing pixels and picking up an OS that's already out there and just customizing it. And then finally, make a solution accessible, right? Avoid turning your mission into a luxury.
Yeah, I liked it, Kevin.
So if this conversation gave you new perspective on what to build that isn't a distraction machine, share it with someone building something meaningful.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Founder Mode, throw us a comment, share it with somebody. It helps us bring stories like this to founders everywhere.
That's all for today. Just remember, build what people will actually use, cut what they won't, and stay close enough to your users to know the difference.